Oh, perfect timing.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Youth Commission meeting, February 27th. I will read our little script before we get started. So today, as I said, is February 29th. The time is 7:03 p.m. The meeting of the Youth Commission is now called to order. My name is Isabella Caruso, and I am the Health and Human Services Director. This open meeting of the Northborough Youth Commission is being conducted in person and remotely, consistent with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. All members of the Youth Commission are allowed and encouraged to participate either in person or remotely. The Act allows the Northborough Youth Commission to meet entirely in person and remotely, so long as reasonable public access is afforded, so that the public can follow along with the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream or the recording of this meeting may do so by going to the Northborough Remote Meetings on the YouTube via the link posted on the agenda. Lastly, ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. Okay. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Judy Boyle.
Here.
Erica Zeiger.
Here.
Okay, and then on Zoom, we have Carrie Wolf.
Here.
And then Joan Clementi.
Here.
Okay, perfect. Well, we are ready. And then for staff, as I said, my name's Isabella. And then we have Liz, our outreach coordinator. And then Caitlin, our new social worker.
Yes, hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be a part of this meeting. I guess I can go ahead and do a little introduction of myself. Hi, my name's Caitlin Mitchell. I am a licensed social worker. Basically background is that my undergrad, I went to Wesleyan University. I received a degree in expressive art therapy. Later on in life, I went back to school for my graduate for my social work degree from Salem State University. I've been working in the mental health field for about 6 years with Riverside Community Care. At my last job, my last position, I was a community resource specialist working with pediatric offices and helping patients and their families be able to receive resources. So that's kind of a little background of kind of myself, and then I've been just trying to get to know the town and meet people. I have met with other municipal departments and got to know other towns and what they're doing, and basically hopefully planning on continuing meeting other departments within town and hopefully with the middle school and elementary schools in the future, and maybe do some programming and other fun stuff too. So I'm glad to be here tonight.
It's been a busy month.
It has been a busy month.
Does everyone on the committee just maybe want to introduce yourself and maybe say like how long you've been on the Youth Commission and why you're on the Youth Commission, just so Caitlin can get to know everyone?
Sure. Erica Zeiger. I have been on the Youth Commission now for roughly 2 years, and I volunteer around in town. I'm also a member of the scholarship committee and also with Helping Hands, who, if you haven't met them yet, you will. They're the ones that do the holiday programs and, various other programs as well. So, and I have 2 teenage boys.
Okay, hello. Do I
Yes,
talk-
and Judy is our newest member of the Youth Commission, so I will also have you introduce yourself. So we're very excited. So now we have five members on the Youth Commission. So thank you very much for
Okay.
volunteering your time, and take it away.
Thank you very much. So I'm Judy Boyle. I've been in Northborough since 2003. Previously with the Neighbor Brigade, which was a charitable organization here in town. I am also on the Master Plan Implementation Committee. I haven't been to a meeting yet, so I'm new on all the commissions. I'm happy to be here and make us any contribution.
Thank you. All right, we'll pass it to Joan on Zoom. I think you're on mute.
Hi, Joan Clementi. I have been on the Youth Commission for about 32 years and look forward to continued success with the Youth Commission. Not myself, the Youth Commission.
Thank you, Joan. And Carrie?
Hey, Carrie Wolf. I am in meeting two, although joined sometime last spring, and I lived in town for about 3.5 years now. I've got a little toddler who was born just a few weeks after we moved. And in my day job, I work for a nonprofit and our external affairs team.
Perfect. Well, thank you all very much. We're looking forward to doing great work. I know this is meeting two of our reboot, but we're very busy and excited. So with that, I'll move on to agenda item number 2. So we did have some discussion last meeting about some officer discussion and vote. So we're looking for a chair and a vice chair. So I guess I'll open it up to the commission to see if there's any further discussion on that piece.
I know Carrie and I chatted this week, and if there is no one else that wants to do it, I'm happy to do it.
Okay.
And I think we were going to talk with Carrie to see what it would be. She's happy to support us, but what would be, the best position is, would it be vice chair, secretary? So I am happy to be chair. So.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on that? So right now, Jennifer Lipton O'Connor is the clerk. So we probably would keep that aside and then just do vice chair and
Okay.
chair. So if there's no discussion, I'll definitely take a motion.
But a motion to have Erica be the chairperson of the Youth Commission?
Okay, does someone
Yeah,
want
I'll
to
second
second
that.
that?
Yeah.
Second, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Carrie. All those in favor, we'll do a show of hands so I can see everyone. Judy, Erica, Carrie, and Joan. Perfect. Okay, great. Well, congratulations.
Thank
you
you.
very much, Erica. I appreciate it. So we'll move on to vice chair. So it sounds like, Carrie, you're interested. Is there anything you want to share or any discussion on that?
Yeah, I am interested and also very open to anyone who's got a little more experience on the commission. So Joan, if you're still interested in a leadership role, would ultimately defer to you, or Judy as someone who's been on other commissions in town. But if no one is interested, I am happy to serve.
I would
think it
feel.
would be great if you served, Carrie. In my, I'm not really interested at this point, as I had mentioned in the last meeting. I thought a fresh new blood would be best for the commission at this point. I'm happy to always be here and consult, but I would welcome you as vice chair.
I would as well, and I would definitely, I'd hate to come in the first night and not know what I'm doing and be hit with all this responsibility, so I will graciously skip right over that offer. Thank you, Carrie.
Okay, great. Well, then I will take a motion for vice chair.
I make a motion for Carrie Wolf to be vice chair.
And I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor? Erica, Judy, great, Joan, and then Carrie. Perfect. Okay, well, great. Thank you very much. We have a full leadership board and more youth commission members. So we are looking for 2 more members. And I know we talked last time about possibly adding 1 to 2 youth. So I do think my goal is to establish a regular meeting, and then we can go ahead and go to the schools. We were talking about the vocational school and the high school to get maybe 2 people, so they can also work together and collaborate.
Yeah, I think that would be good to have too, especially with everybody's time commitments. It would be nice to always have one of the youth here if both can't make it.
Well, I'm going to pass it to you, Erica, a little bit, but I'm just going to open it up now for a discussion of Youth Commission goals. So I know this is the second time we're meeting, so I really wanted to open it up to see what you all were hoping and thinking for goals of your commission.
So I had a few different ideas, and Joan, jump in if there's anything that has not been done, or, you've had success with, but working with Caitlin, I would love to see some programming. Whether it's more, on the educational side or more on the, quote unquote fun side. I think it would be great if we could, pull in all kids, but especially that, 12 to 15. I know that there's a lot of discussion that there's not a lot in town for them. 16, I feel like you're gonna, it's more difficult, and then the younger ones seem to have more activities built in, so it's, I think it'll be harder to get some of them, and then the 0 to 5 will probably be doing more of the play groups. So I would suggest that the first bit of programming, we try to focus on that middle school age group.
Yeah, are you saying you would like to see that happening within family and youth, the department, I don't remember the name, sorry, or goals for the youth commission?
I think the youth commission, I think I would like to see, maybe supplementing or, working together. So kind of, working hand in hand, but separate too, have this be an initiative of the youth commission.
We did do that at one point, supplemented with, I think the only thing that we really did supplemented with were dances for that age group.
I think that's a great idea.
That is a good idea. I also think the goals should be that we represent the town's people and the youth of the town, and as much as we can, and the families of the town, and bringing forth anything that we hear of or see as mental health issues that we think that the department can help with.
So almost like, I agree, so almost like an information and referral type of thing. So if there's, kind of like creating a pipeline, so if we do hear of something, then discussing it, say with Liz, and then maybe Caitlin, just kind of being the eyes and ears.
Yeah,
Is that?
absolutely, and also, right, being the eyes and ears as best as we can. People on the youth commission who have children, who probably will hear a lot more that's happening in the schools, and they can bring that forward.
I have a question / comment. I was reading, trying to see what I could dig up about what the youth commissions and other communities were doing. So I spent some time, excuse me, I have a little tickle in my throat, what the youth commissions were doing. And now, the Newton is much larger than Northborough, and I might be stating what you all know, but what I found really neat was they certainly have a huge youth commission, but, the population would certainly support that. And they do have the youth involvement. I think they call them like youth ambassadors, everywhere from like 8th grade and up, and they have 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. So I know, I was excited to hear that that's already something we're hoping to pull in too, high school students. But there was actually, and it's kind of tied into what you just were talking about, they did like a focus group. Again, I don't want to tell you, bring up something that you all know about. And it was like a publicized event. Everybody in the community was invited, youth and adults. And then they somebody presented, they broke up into groups, and they had some prompts on where are we lacking in town? What are some concerns? And, so that kind of drove the goals.
Yeah, so almost like a youth forum.
A youth forum, a focus group, whatever you want to call it. But does anybody, and I know we have some new faces really across the board, with the exception of Joan, has anything been like that been done recently, just like a public, what, we're here, what do you want us to do for you? Let's ask people rather than us to try to decide what people need.
I don't think we ever had a focus group or, a Q&A or asking what they want the youth commission to be. I don't know if that would be the role of the youth commission, because the youth commission is supposed to somewhat know, and that's what a board or a commission does. But anything can happen and changes can happen, but no, we never really did anything like that before.
Yeah, I think some of the topics that the common denominators certainly were lack of support for mental health, bullying, forgive me,
LGBTQ.
LGB, pardon me, that acronym. But, the youth really, came out loud and clear where they felt they were, they didn't have support in town. So these focus groups, these breakout groups coming out of the same night of the forum, again, with these prompts, and all the participants were encouraged to be very candid, safe place, no judgment here. And the messages were loud and clear. And it's a common theme. We know this, and this is, hopefully what the Youth Commission can
Yeah,
help.
I think what would be good, and let me know what you think, is I need to review, I don't know, we probably all need to review the bylaws. I haven't looked at them in a while, so I'd be curious, like Joan said, like on how to read that, and then incorporate the mission of Health and Human Services. Like, I'd love to talk to Caitlin and just kind of, weigh that, because I know that I don't want to reinvent the wheel if the information is already out there.
Sure.
But then at the same time, I don't know what we are privy to. For example, I know Encompass does a focus group at Algonquin, but I know obviously public data can be shared, but I just want to kind of make sure that we're not overreaching before, like, we kind of like maybe establish that as a goal that could almost be like a pre-goal, because I think it would be great, and then to have the liaisons. But I know that there's, like with mental health especially, I'm very cautious of this, that, if you do hold a focus group, you really do want to have a licensed clinical, specialist, psychologists, someone with that. So I think it's an idea, because I'd love to see something just coming from the Youth Commission. But I think, personally, I want to review the bylaws before, and then maybe talk with the two of you.
I see Carrie's hand
Yeah.
raised.
Thank you. I was thinking somewhat along those lines. I was remembering that the Encompass programming has the focus groups, and didn't know if there's any flexibility for tacking any questions on there. What I do really love about your initial posit, Judy, is in general, one, thinking about what other commissions are doing is always a really interesting space, of course. And the other thing that I encounter in my, day job and professional sphere, when we're talking with advising on our own research projects. I'm always struck that research, when it's driven with like a participatory component, the classic examples given are always around engaging youth, especially like middle school age, and how that process of really going to the youth to get some ideas will totally change what adults would have expected as the right programming or the right questions to ask. And so I'm like noodling on that of where I would at the very least love to have the students that we're looking to have join the commission on board before we really commit and put a lot of resources forward if there isn't another way to engage even more youth voices. Yeah.
Thinking back, I think we did send out questionnaires asking what the, not to the whole populace, but to the students, what they find. This wouldn't be stating what the youth commission should do, but for them to answer what they think are the biggest concerns. And a few years back, it was anxiety, especially at Algonquin, about testing.
That was a common theme, too, coming out of this focus group, yep. Yeah.
So I think if we could just kind of review the bylaws and then search a little bit more on some other youth commissions, maybe some that have a similar demographic as Northborough, and then hopefully get the youth on board. And that could be that could kind of be a goal in itself. I have to think about how to word it, but that could, I don't know. I'll think of something, we can kind of brainstorm on that. But I think that would be great with the ultimate goal of having a youth-centered focus group from this commission. And then I do definitely think maintaining the eyes and the ears, is super important. And now that we have, Liz, she can be our, kind of our direct connection to HHS. So.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think the only thing I would add is there's a lot of outreach opportunities in town, so I would love to, we table at a lot of events, so if anyone was all willing to, help us table or even spread the word about our department, I think that's, always our goal.
Yeah.
So really just kind of being the ambassadors for the department.
Sure.
And we do that through outreach.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think continued outreach is probably the most important thing, so that at least they know that we're here and what we can do. So
I do have a quick question about the youth. How are you recruiting them? How are you getting the word out as far as that we're looking for them? And
So-
you need me to help you with that.
yeah. So what we chatted a little bit. What I was thinking, if anyone has any other ideas, is once we have like a job description, we could get it to the, the Algonquin, possibly Assabet, and then if you could share it on the newsletter that we're looking for them, and then word of mouth. And I think it's just important that, we do try to touch as much as we can. And that would be like, if, like an outreach table or something like that. And then, was there an application in the past?
So yes, Joan sent me the application, but more recently the town has an application. So what basically Judy had to fill out. So
Okay.
they kind of keep it the same even for youth, just
Okay,
because
yeah.
it's kind of unique to our commission, but we would have them fill that out.
Yeah.
And then it would be the same process.
Yeah, that's what I would think, and just kind of, once we have that process, and then just try to market it and promote it wherever we can.
And would we be looking for 1 or 2?
I would say 2, but I'm open for discussion.
One thing, there's, again, I was just jotting kind of miscellaneous notes as I'm like reading through like tons and tons of meeting minutes, just things like, oh, that's a cute, not cute, but that's a good idea. Again, these aren't suggestions, it's just, I'm just
Yeah,
as we
yeah,
put this, kind
sharing.
of figure out our goal here. Youth advisory, Lexington has a youth advisory committee, they call it, and that's the students. Granted, larger population, and they have 5 on their board. But the whole core of it is, I really like this quote, and it's obvious, but it's so empowering. It kind of drives, I think, what we're all talking about. Encourage youth to take leadership roles in the community and have a voice. So, you know,
Yeah, I
that could
think-
kind of set the tone for what we want this. And if we call it something, you know, the ambassadors, youth advisory committee,
Well, I think they're full-fledged members of the youth commission.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right there, being on a town board at, say, 16 is definitely going to, you know, encourage that, and hopefully we'll get the applicants that are interested.
Yeah.
And really
They-
promoting
They
that.
wouldn't be full-fledged.
They're not full-fledged?
Members of the board. They wouldn't be, they can't vote,
Okay,
and also, a member has to be interviewed and approved by, one of the selectmen.
oh, yep. So the youth would interview with the select board? Like with us and the select board, just like,
They don't usually, well, of course, we can do anything, change it as we see, but, if they are, at this point, they would not be voting members, because they are not voted, they are not approved or interviewed by a selectman and the director and possibly the chair of the youth commission. For that to occur, for them to be voting members, which I'm not sure we want to do, they would most likely have to go through the process that a potential candidate for a youth commission seat would have to go through.
okay,
So
so,
in, oh, pardon.
no, I was gonna say, so more of a liaison, or are we gonna look into
I think it
it?
can be both ways. I've seen
Okay.
other communities, they're
Okay,
full voting
yeah.
members.
So maybe we can research,
I know Westboro, they say that their youth advisory committee, they just report to the youth commission. So if that helps, so maybe,
yeah.
you know,
We can take a look at it,
but-
maybe,
kind of
yeah,
put something together that,
yeah,
Are you talking about a youth advisory, or are you talking about the youth liaison?
liaison,
Yeah, right, we were the first town actually to do youth liaisons in the boroughs. And, yeah, a liaison never had the voting power.
okay.
Yeah, I remember, I reached out to the front office in November and they did say they would be voting members, but I think maybe it
Yeah, we
depends on
can-
how we do
yeah.
it. Or how
so
you
we'll
all
look
do
into
it.
that.
Yeah, I think we
get some
can look into
clarity
it.
and,
Yeah.
check the bylaws and everything.
Yeah.
So is that one of our
It's
goals?
not on the ballot,
Did we just establish a goal?
but they were never voting members, ever, no matter what the front desk said.
All right, so we can look into it, and maybe, who is our liaison with the select board? Maybe they can,
I think it's Mike Teachin.
okay, you know, maybe,
Yes, whoever the liaison to the select board could, find that out, but, yeah, we could ask that
Yeah.
person. I don't know who the liaison
But I-
person is.
yeah, I know, I understand what you're saying, it hasn't been done in the past, so I get, you know, I definitely think we should look into both of that if that's what we decide, so,
Oh, yeah, if that's what we decide.
Yeah.
And at this point, I don't think they should be voting members. I think they're too young.
you know. So. But yeah, well, we
And
can,
also, well, they would be,
yeah,
if they are, yeah, I guess they would be Northborough residents. You have to be a resident.
yeah,
obviously.
yeah, yeah. All right, so, I think we can add that to maybe not a goal, but maybe, you know, just to, you know, more info
Okay.
on that.
Right, if you're recruiting them, you probably want to make it clear. if
Well,
you're
that's
voting or
why,
not
yes.
voting.
So before we start recruiting, we kind of have, you know, exactly, and we know what we're recruiting for too, and have some clear guidance.
Do you have a timeline of when you would like a potential youth here
I
on
mean,
board?
obviously, I would say as soon as possible, but I think to be thorough, we're gonna already be at the end of the school year. So maybe the end of like this school year, so maybe we could recruit and vote by June. And then, because I don't think we meet July and August, is that?
I think it's up to you.
Yeah, and then come back and maybe they'd start, this around September, but that's just kind of what I'm thinking right now, but I'm open to other, suggestions.
I do think it's either the bylaw or I think it might be the bylaw. I recently looked at it. I think it is even stated that the youth commission does not meet in August,
Okay,
if you're looking at an August date.
yeah, no, I would prefer not to meet in August. So, all right, so I think,
A little confused here. Are we trying to define what the goals of the youth commission would be? Or strategize how we want to see the youth commission going forward?
I think both. I do. I think because, it's a new department.
Are more high level.
Yeah.
High level, yeah.
But I think it would be nice to set a tone, so we're all kind of on the same page, especially since, there was that huge break when we didn't meet.
Yeah, go ahead, Carrie.
I'm wondering, Isabella, if you and your team have materials that you can share with us readily that are the overall department's mission and goals at this time. One thing that I'm thinking about in all this is what is the role of the commission in terms of bylaw and scoping, and then how we take that forward with goals. But I also want to make sure whatever we're building and contributing to here is synchronous enough with what
Exactly.
your department is trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I can read the mission statement, but I can also send out the mission statement and some goals. But overall, the Northborough Department of Health and Human Services is committed to the health and wellness of Northborough, of all residents. We address the diverse human service needs of our town through equitable programs that focus on disease surveillance and prevention, environmental health, and behavioral health promotion and education. Guided by the Board of Health and the Youth Commission, the Northborough Health and Human Services Department strives to build a healthier and more resilient community for everyone who lives, works, and plays in Northborough.
Yeah, that's a high level definition of goals. So yeah, you would have to understand what the specifics are underneath it, but to do a goal statement like that, it would be more at the higher level.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be, like, as Carrie said, I think it would be good to just kind of maybe take this meeting to maybe kind of, table this and then come back when, I know I need to learn a lot more. And then we can review it the next meeting. If that sounds good, we can, so get the information and then just kind of review the new mission. And then maybe Caitlin, we can chat and kind of go from there and then come up with the specific goals. We could do, we could do two separate goals. We could do goals for, our group moving forward. I don't even know if those would be goals, but how our mission can align with Health and Human Services, and then specific, goals such as, create a program for certain ages, whatever we choose. So.
I'm in favor of that. That sounds good.
Yeah, so, all right, perfect.
Sounds good. All right.
So would that be like an action item for us as commission members for next meeting? We're gonna collect the data?
Yeah, I mean, is that, yeah, sure.
Not trying to.
No,
not trying to
thank
run
you.
this show,
Thank you,
but
no.
I'm just thinking like.
Yeah,
do we-
no, this,
So at the next meeting, we can drive it. in
yeah,
that
so we
direction.
can, I guess, review the bylaws and mission of the Health and Human Services and just report back, how we interpreted it and what we would like, how we would like to see the commission organized and run, moving forward, while staying true to the bylaws and making sure that we don't do anything, that's not in line with that.
Perfect.
So,
All right, well, we will move right along. So
I have some
I'm,
lifesavers. One person down. Everybody, this is why I get invited to these commissions. They always have a bag of lifesavers on me.
so now we're going to talk a little bit about Interface. So Interface is through William James College in Northborough. We've had it since 2020. So basically, it's a mental health referral service. So participating communities, which Northborough is one, residents can call, and within 2 to 3 weeks, they get placed or matched with a mental health provider. So this data on the screen is the last 6 months. So it's from the beginning of the fiscal year, so July 1st, 2024, to the end of December. So I'm going to walk through the data, but feel free to stop me and ask any questions as we go through this. So in that 6-month period, there were 17 cases from Northborough, and 15 of those cases were connected with a provider. The 2 cases that weren't matched did not pick up the phone or did not continue with the service. Overall, the majority of the cases were age 6 to 17 years old. So again, it's that youth population, so about 59%. And then the remaining 5 were 18 to 60 or over 60. Majority female, 59%, compared to male at 41%. And then 82% of callers requested individual counseling compared or opposed to medical treatment or family therapy. So really a need for individual counseling. The most common presenting issues were anxiety, depression, and then family-related issues. A lot of the other categories only had one individual, so I just decided to share the commonly presented issues. And then on the far right, we have how callers learned about the service, which I think is important as we try to increase these numbers and ensure that all residents know we have this service. So 7 of the callers learned about it through school, which is a great resource. So we definitely are referring the schools to this service, and it does help that Northborough and Southborough has this service so that the high school can offer it. Repeat callers, so that could mean I called 3 years ago and I wanted a different counselor or a different service. It could also mean that I was calling on behalf of another family member. And then other, there's a lot of different categories for other. It could be a healthcare provider, a community event, social media. There's a wide range of other categories. So that's kind of the data that we get every 6 months in a nutshell, and I do hope to continue to do this, and we can compare rates of, cases from this time period to last time period. But does anyone have any questions about this data that at least the services that we're providing Northborough?
I don't know if I have a question on that. Do we know when the individual is connected? At that point, is that when I'm assuming insurance takes over at some point, or is that like a pro bono service or free, not free, but
Yeah,
is there a grant for that? Like, how does that work? If I'm someone looking for individual counseling and I have Mass Health, will I be able to see them?
So they match you based on your insurance. So
Okay.
on that intake, you would say like, Erica, I would prefer in person. That's a little bit more tricky, but I have Mass Health, and they try to connect you with your preferred
Okay,
match.
so the referral is made in conjunction with your insurance and someone helping you, not just getting a list and.
Totally.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's
It's definitely
great.
a lot more hand holding, and then they call to check in to make sure
Yep.
everything's going well.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
It's my understanding too, correct me if I'm wrong, that if they're your match, that they are accepting new patients, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
eliminates that stress. And
Yeah, Carrie?
Is the entire referral system through to connection into counseling confidential for youth? Or
Yes.
is it, like many of those services, I'm trying to remember what I do know about youth and accessing some services through an insurance plan. And I know some are, I guess, obscured or like details aren't provided and some aren't in Massachusetts. I'm curious just how that looks for the youth that are calling in.
That's a good question. So you're asking if a youth called, would it show up on their parents' insurance, like,
Yeah.
claims? That is a good question.
That's
It might
yeah.
depend on each provider. I would lean towards not being confidential, but I would have to double check.
Makes sense. Is that system, to your understanding, confidential at least until they do connect into that external service of whatever sort?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Isabella, and I apologize if you said this earlier, how long have we had Interface?
Since 2020.
Okay, you
It
just said
says
that. I'm
July
sorry. How does
2020.
this 6-month period?
Yeah, I'm glad you
Kinda.
asked. I said I'm glad you asked. So I know it's really small, so I can send this out after. The only caveat is they recently did change their reporting periods. That's why it looks a little weird. So beforehand they were doing June to November. They're now doing July to December to align with fiscal years. But the last 6-month period, you can ignore that 1 month of June, which had 5, had 27. So that would be December 2023 to the end of May. So that had 27 cases.
What's 43? What's the high one?
That was December 2022 to the end of May 2023.
Okay, that makes
That's
makes
a
a lot
big
of sense.
jump. What was happening? Coming out, were we still remote then? Or were we back?
I think we were back.
We were back, but it was the first, if I'm correct, it was the first year that the kids were back in school. Or it was around that time. So I know that was a I had middle schoolers. It was a very challenging time. So that's kind of making sense. And there was also the kids that did the year remote. There was quite a few in town that did the year remote, so now they were going back to school. So it's interesting data.
Yeah, when I was talking to Interface this past month, they did say that their numbers are kind of settling a little bit, so kind of reduced from high COVID levels. And like I've talked to Caitlin, a lot of people prefer in-person services, but a lot of mental health providers have strayed away from renting, and they're offering more remote options.
Because there's such like accessibility now with remote, so and providers can get a lot more patients on their caseload, so you can see why
I
there
can see
was
why.
a transition, not only to help deal with like the ongoing mental health crisis on top of everything, since there is like low cases of therapists and social workers, so to be able to help supplement
Yeah.
the high demand.
Yeah.
Any other questions about?
No.
Yeah, Carrie.
Yeah. Are you all able to get any data in between these, 6-month reporting periods, or in the interim, are you largely just going off of keeping track of how many referrals you've made, just to understand if something were to, external pressures were resulting in actually a much higher level of use and referral, and then you're kind of seeing at this time?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I do have a good connection with the Interface contact, so I'm sure if I was, looking for a little bit more data, I think they just try to keep it to twice a year just because they have so many other communities. But no, I think it's a good point. I think we try to refer from our office, but it is difficult to understand who else is referring, and we want that to happen. So that's a good question, Carrie.
So Liz, are you giving us an update?
Yes. So we're going to go into our programming update. So before I pass it on to Liz and Caitlin, Encompass did host their Screenagers screening Tuesday, and Judy was there. So I would love to hear what you thought.
The popcorn was delicious. It was very well done. I was wondering how, I mean, the message is eternal, but I was
Yep.
wondering when it was done, because.
The Screenagers movie.
Yeah.
I think it was, I want to say 2021, but I would have to double
Okay, so,
check.
so fairly
Because
recently.
there's 3 different ones, or there might be 4 now. One's elementary school, one is definitely mental health and digital, and then this one was focused on substance use and in kind of the digital age. But yeah, we had about 40 parents, a few youth, and I think it was a great turnout. We had a panel afterwards with 4 individuals with, those in recovery. We had Dr. Medina, we had the DA's office, so a lot of different representation. So it was a great event, and thank you for coming. And then HHS, as well as Southborough Youth and Family, were also able to table outside. So we provided actually interface referrals and some fun stickers and things like that to get the word out. But with that, I will pass it first off to Caitlin to talk a little bit about what we're planning with the library.
Yeah, we're planning a lot of stuff with the library going on. Kind of like the first thing that we're kind of planning with the library is that I will be at the library on Tuesdays starting April 8th from 3 to 5, kind of having an open space for community members or youth to come in to either talk about, could be mental health related issues, or if they just need some community resources, and we can always refer back to our office if needed, if we need more time. So that's kind of creating a space there, just to be a presence within the library, because it sounds like it's a much needed space that needs it. Plus it would be good to have that interaction and as well. And then kind of coming from your last youth commission, there was the talk of like a health and wellness book club. So I did bring a book with me. Well, our proposed name, I will say, is for the book club, just kind of hearing more about feedback, would be Words of Wellness. That would be the name of the self-help book club. One of the first books that I was suggesting is Why Has Nobody Told Me This Before by Dr. Julie Smith. She's a psychologist. She kind of became popular on TikTok, of course. And basically her book is kind of, it has separate sections talking about specific chapters or like specific topics. So for example, her first section is on the dark places. So mood. She does give basically like some questions at the end of the chapters or chapter summaries. So I thought it would be something nice, easy, ease into the book club. Hopefully we can eventually figure out like another proposed book that I like was thinking of was like how to setting boundaries and finding peace. I've just blanked out on the author's name. That's the name of the book, but that talks about boundaries. That could be a proposed second book, not set in stone yet like this one is, but we thought maybe at least starting something. I know what we heard from other communities and lots of members in Northborough community is the book Anxious Generation, but I think we want to give ourselves more time and maybe start that book later into the fall, just so we can figure out how to break it down, because it is very dense. And I think it would be a great book that we're already hearing from the community, but I think we wanted to start a little bit more of an ease into it. So this is kind of my proposed book, as well as the name for the group.
And is it like 18 and up, 16 and up? Are there?
I think mostly adults. We talked about keeping it open to all adults.
Yep.
Not just parents. So
Oh, yeah, definitely.
just to allow more community members.
Yeah.
We know right now, like, kids have a lot of academic stuff, so having maybe an adult book club would be a great start. Something, of course, to reassess in the future if
Sure.
we want to have more of the youth have their book clubs, but I know
No, I
there's a
think
lot
adults would
going
be-
on.
yeah.
But we figure open it up to all adults and be able to talk about, everybody can talk about their mental
Yeah.
health and gather a piece of like what can help them and reassess, maybe working on new interventions. This is one thing I love about the end of this book. They have like different different examples of things that she refers to and that you can reflect back on, like
Yeah.
like pros and cons lists and etc. Not specifically that, but
Yeah, no,
but
that's
for
great.
example, but that's kind of what we were thinking for the book club.
Yeah.
Based on the feedback at the last meeting.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
And would you be the moderator of that?
Yeah, I would be one of the moderators, and then we'll have the librarians helping me.
Sure.
As well, just so I can get my feet a little bit wet. I haven't been in a book club in a long time, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm a big reader,
Yeah.
so personally, but
Do you have an expected rollout date?
yes, we're right now. I think we're pretty solid on April 15th. So
Okay.
it would be 1 week after my embedding, like in the library
Yep.
times. So I'll be there pretty much from 3 to 7. But basically the book club would be from 6 to 7, so an hour on April 15th. Got that confirmation actually today. So
Perfect.
yeah. So we're working forward with that, but definitely wanted to bring it here first if you guys have any questions.
So April 15th, 6 to 7 at the library.
At the library, we'll figure, we'll probably put out a flyer and
Sure.
confirm where the space will be.
Yeah.
We're just figuring that out.
Yeah, the logistics
Yeah.
will be forthcoming.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure you guys were
Yeah, no, I think that's-
on board, or if you had a different name idea, because we were throwing a lot of name ideas too.
I got a sneak peek the other day. Excuse
you
me.
did.
And I just thought it was fun. There was a flyer on your desk with the wellness logo that that somebody created a couple years ago, and just the whole wellness. So whatever you said,
Yeah, words of
words
wellness.
of wellness. I was like, that's just consistent with the whole theme
Yeah.
that the town is like. It's everywhere. It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just very cute
Branded.
and clever.
Yeah.
Huh?
Kind of like a branding.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, relating to the Be Well. I
Yeah.
think that's what it was.
That's what it was.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Sounds great.
So yeah, that's kind of one of the things. And then eventually, like I know what was talked about in the last meeting as well. I watched it, of
Yeah.
course. Was I definitely want to do more expressive art therapy. I used to do a lot of art therapy. We're working on that programming. I say to keep it down the pipeline, but we'll see in the future, possibly even working more with the middle school population. I've heard a lot of conversation about having a girls group, especially with that age range. So that might be a thing down the line. We're just working on further planning. So a lot to come soon. And then of course Liz has a lot to share, I guess. I'll move it on to you now.
You want to talk about the other?
Nope, I think, go ahead.
Could I just interject for 1 second? Yeah. So the expressive art therapy, I just happened to be at a meeting last night, the public forum, the public hearing for the proposed design of our downtown area, okay? So I don't want to occupy too much time, but a lot of the residents were huge proponents, advocates for setting up little like art, pop-up art.
Yeah. The
place.
like the Cultural Council
Yeah.
has done some of that around, with having art in different spaces.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think, yeah.
So, just, I think it's just, like, it's not coincidence that, you know, this is something you envision for our town, and a whole nother committee is already planning for what you just brought up, so.
Yeah, and expressive art therapy is so, it's definitely been around. I think it's getting more exposure as time goes along. Even when I was in college, it was still working on its way of getting exposure. But it's still very been prevalent for a long time. And I think it is beneficial because it gives kids another outlet, and even for adults, another outlet without a voice. Like, we're such in like a lot of talking culture, and putting things on paper and giving that expression. And like, I hear a lot of people say like, I can't draw, but I consider stick figures art too, so it gets that expression out there. So, but I look forward to doing that more. I did that within my mental health career. I was meeting adults, and some of the adults that I was working with wanted to do more art therapy, so I did kind of like one-on-one sessions with them, not only with their art interests, but just putting out some other topics for them to try.
It's gonna be so
different
well
mediums.
received, because I heard a lot about it last night. Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Sorry, Liz.
Oh, no, that's okay.
This is going to take it away with all of our upcoming events.
I
and-
know,
too.
so exciting.
So I wanted to just touch upon, like, we've been really trying to increase our social media presence as well on Facebook and Instagram. So just to kind of give you numbers, start of January, we had 39 followers on Facebook. We are now up to 79. I was hoping to get to 100 by the end of the month, but I'm not sure we'll get there in a day. Instagram had 11 followers, and we currently have 25. Instagram is a little bit slower to pick up. But we definitely are trying to, gain followers and put it out that, that's where a lot of information is being shared. Also, through the town website, you can sign up with a Notify Me to receive all news and announcements that we put out through the town website. So that includes the newsletter that comes out monthly as well. So coming up, we do have a lot of stuff coming up. So the week of March 31st to April 4th, we are having it's actually the school's wellness week, but we're kind of piggybacking on that a little bit. On April 1st, we're going to have the MGH Bloodmobile in the parking lot of the library. That will be from 10 to 3:30 in the afternoon, and registration is open as of yesterday. So again, if you can put that out into your circles, that would be great, because we really do want to try to fill that up in those slots. The other thing that is coming up is the Health and Wellness Fair that week, which is going to be on April 2nd from 4 to 7 p.m., also at the library. So that is something that we are working with the library with. Our part has been to try to get vendors in there. And so we have room for 20 vendors. We've been trying to keep it like nonprofit and pertinent to what, our mission is as well. So some of those vendors is like Mass 211, Interface will be there, NAMI, Northborough Helping Hands, Office of Economic Empowerment, Out Metro West, Parent Professional Advocacy League, SNAP, SMOC, WIC, YMCA, Springwell will also be there, and a couple other ones as well.
That'd be great.
So those will, those are a lot of the agencies that we work with, and, so that would be, it'll be nice to see them face to face too.
Yeah.
But also because those are the resources that we, have residents work with, it'll be nice for them to have that right there. There are also going to be kids activities and demonstrations, whatever Erica, I think Erica's going to do some yoga, is it?
No, I'm doing a meditation
Okay,
workshop.
yeah.
I haven't quite figured it out, but it'll be mindfulness and meditation, probably what I say gentle movement, because I don't know everybody's ability.
Right,
So I
right.
try to keep it, like that. But I would love for everyone to come join me. So
So all the final details will, they're coming together, and as soon as we have like a schedule of things and what is actually, we're in the process of doing a flyer, but just to put that on your radar, we would love for you to help spread the word when that is out there. If it's on social media, share it through your own channels, in groups.
That's April 2nd, 4 to 7 at the library, the Health
The
and Wellness
fair,
Fair.
yes.
Okay.
The Bloodmobile is the day before.
Excuse me.
In addition to that, we have some outreach opportunities, which was great. This morning, we had, through the Community Affairs Committee, we had a little coffee. It wasn't hugely attended, but it was great because Julianne Hirsch, from the Select Board, was there, as well as Susie Zliska, and it was a lot of good information that we were sharing and opportunities of, how we can fit into some of those. And one of them is, having a table at the summer concerts, where a lot of people come, and so we have a lot of presence there where, people can come and talk and, take a flyer or just see what, we have to offer. Another one through her was the town cleanup day. They always have where people come up to pick up their bags. They have a couple of town committees there. So, but some of these are on the weekends, so we will, might need your help on.
Yeah, no.
But we'll put that out when we have more definite things. Some of the other things coming up for events that we've been invited to, or we've, got into. And we have a Culture and Music Fest is coming up at the Algonquin, so we're going to have a table at that on March 7th. They are also having the Multilingual Parent Advisory Council meeting on May 8th, so they also invited us to present at that. And they're having an international night at Algonquin on May 16th, so again, that would be another tabling event. The last day of school event from Be Well is on June 17th, so again, another tabling event. We're also invited to a Rotary Club meeting on May 6th and an interfaith clergy meeting on March 10th. I think that was the bulk of them.
Busy, Liz.
So, yeah, it's great that, we're trying to spread the word in a lot of different areas and being invited to some of these other groups, just to let, again, another, bunch of residents know what we do and what we have to support them, is, what we're doing, is a part of the whole process.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Thank you, Liz. Sure. And then just lastly, we do have some professional development opportunities for our staff. I think this is very important as we, grow as a department, but also for ourselves. So the three of us were invited to a municipal human services retreat in Needham, so that's great. We're going to be working with other health and human services departments and family and youth and service departments. So we'll all come together and kind of do a training. And then the health and human service department is doing a mental health first aid training with the library on April 10th. So that's an 8-hour long training, but it's really good to, cope with our mental health, but also how we can, assist residents in their mental health. So we're looking forward to that as well. But
So important.
yes, it is so important.
Yeah.
And we're partnering with Shrewsbury Youth and Family, so it's a free opportunity because they have a grant.
Oh, good, yeah.
So those are all of our lots of updates. So we can move on if the Youth Commission has any reports and updates.
No, I don't.
Yeah, Carrie?
Not an update, but a question. I'm curious if any of the, just federal activities and changes in data sets and grants are impacting your department and current bodies of work.
Definitely emotionally. Financially, right now, no, everything is status quo, but we definitely are following closely. It would be more the federal CDC grant, so that Encompass position. But we are following closely, and we'll definitely let everyone know, as we know. But all of the executive orders that we were aware of are currently, I think, halted with
Yeah.
judges. But I do appreciate that question.
Great question. But no, I have nothing else. I think we kind of, discussed what we'll do, moving forward. So I guess just, if there's nothing else, and then we should approve the minutes? Okay. Did anyone, I actually did not bring a copy with me, but I did review them and I didn't see any changes. I don't know, does anyone else?
I should probably abstain, right? I wasn't here, so.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Carrie
I
or
also
Joan?
didn't see any changes to amend.
I did not see any, I didn't see any changes either to amend. I did have a comment if I could.
Yeah, of course.
On the current Zoom, the way it's being presented. However it's set up, unless it's just my computer, when it's viewed, looking at the meeting 3, Town Northborough, I can't see the whole panel. And I can't really see who's speaking. It's
Okay.
better for me if it's set up with the participant boxes, if it's via Zoom.
Okay, I can talk to our IT following this meeting. I know usually we are set up in the first floor room, so I think that might be set up a little differently, but we
Yeah.
can definitely look into that before the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
But I appreciate
And
that.
also, lastly, what initiates the person speaking going up on the big screen and then staying there?
I have,
Whoever is speaking is on the screen.
So our IT, David is saying whoever is talking should be on the big screen.
But that's not happening because I'm still on the screen.
If you go up to the top, it would say
gallery,
view, and you can do speaker mode, gallery mode. It should be on your
Yeah,
upper right.
Yeah, thank you, I'll look at that, but I'm talking about the big screen in back of you all. It's not changing, it keeps me up there as I speak, but then when somebody else speaks, I am still up there.
Okay, I do see that happening as well, so we will look into that.
Okay. Thank you.
thank you.
All right.
So I make a motion to approve the minutes from January 16th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Okay, so Joan seconded.
Yep, so,
All those in favor?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Perfect.
Approved.
Yeah.
You? Dates. Do we have any? I know we had talked last time, Joan, we had looked at, was it the third Thursday? I know we switched it because of February vacation, but are we still looking at the third Thursday? Does that work?
It does for me, I actually looked at the bylaws, which
Oh.
I'm just trying to find them, I can't find them. It actually states the third Tuesday.
The third Tuesday.
I don't know why it was switched to third Thursday. The only thing I could think of is maybe that's when the people work a little later,
Yeah.
work until 7.
I'm not sure what is in the bylaws. I can check really quickly, but I
have
did
no
talk to Di, and she said that the bylaws are pretty outdated, so we should meet whenever the board is
When
willing to
it's,
meet.
We
okay,
should meet, no, I'm sorry, we should meet whatever set is
What-
stated in the bylaws?
No, whatever works best for the committee.
I see, okay.
so if, I mean, I'm pretty flexible, but if the third Thursday at 7 works, should we continue with that?
That's fine with me.
That's fine with me as well.
Yeah, no, the three of you, because you have, or,
I think we can be flexible. I mean,
Okay.
it-
so why
all
don't,
meetings might not be all three of us, but we can.
yeah, why don't we stick with that until, say, May or June, and then we can, once we get youth on board, maybe we'll have a couple more committee members, we can relook it. But we can do that, if that sounds good to everybody.
So that brings us to March 20th, I believe.
Which,
Yep,
yep.
Okay.
And again, it would be both virtual and in person, the
Yes, and we
hybrid
will,
option.
we will check on that IT as well.
And then it would be April 17th, which is not school vacation.
Okay, perfect.
And then, ooh, May is one of those funny months. Would be May 15th, is that correct?
Yes.
And then June 19th is Juneteenth.
Right.
So I would prefer June 12th opposed to the 26th, if that, because I know once school's out, yeah, so June 12th.
And going back to the 17th, don't change it for me, but I can't make the 17th.
Okay. So we'll have to see if we have a quorum, but we can deal with that when it gets a little closer. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, April 17th I can't make.
April 17th, yeah, that's what, I knew you meant that.
Okay.
All right. So that will take us to the end of the year, or the
Okay,
school
perfect.
year.
And then did the group want to talk, did you want to put a pause on meeting for July and August, or did you want to see what we're doing?
Probably a pause, I would think. And then, I mean, if we decide that we really need to meet, can't we, in June, could we take a look at it? But I would say pause July and August, and then resume in September. I know, Carrie, what do you think? I know you have kids as well.
I do. Mine's younger, and
Yeah.
we're not yet on an academic system. I think in general, what I also like about it is even if we have success with a youth or two on board before end of summer, their schedules change so
yeah.
drastically that I would hate for them to feel like this is incongruous with whatever they need to try to do throughout the summer, versus like an academic school year. So
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
it feels like a really good cadence on my end too.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
So, anything else? No? I guess we can adjourn. It's 8:15.
Yep, so just a motion
Oh.
to adjourn.
So I motion to adjourn at 8:15.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye, yes.
Perfect. Well, it was nice seeing you all. Again, thank you,
Aye,
Erica
thank
and
you.
Carrie, for volunteering, and we'll see you in a month.
Go.
Excuse me.